On Tuesday, FIFA announced that across all 104 matches of this World Cup, its Integrity Task Force had found no suspicious betting activity and no indication of match manipulation anywhere in the tournament. A clean sheet. The next day, an independent body operating under an international anti-fixing treaty published its own review of the same tournament and detailed 7 notices raised for possible manipulation. Same competition, same monitoring period. And here's the part that makes it awkward. That independent body sits on FIFA's own task force. Opposite conclusions, 24 hours apart, from people who are supposed to be on the same side. Nobody has proven a single match at this World Cup was fixed. I'm going to keep saying that. But there are questions on the table now that FIFA has to answer, and one of them has a president's phone call in it. Let's go through it properly. Start with the facts, because they're not in dispute and nobody's denying them. 1st of July. Round of 32. USA against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Folarin Balogun steps on Tarek Muharemovic's ankle and is sent off. Straight red. Under the rules, that's an automatic one-match ban. He'd missed the next game against Belgium. Then the President of the United States picked up the phone. Donald Trump called FIFA President Gianni Infantino about the red card. The Guardian reported 3 calls. The executive director of the White House's World Cup Task Force spoke to Infantino too. So did the US Secretary of Commerce. On the 5th of July, FIFA's disciplinary committee suspended the ban. They used Article 27 of the Disciplinary Code, which lets a judicial body pause a punishment and put the player on probation instead. They published no reasoning. They fined US Soccer $40,000. And FIFA's line was that Article 27 wasn't unprecedented. It had been used in qualifying before. Trump posted, quote, "Thank you to FIFA for doing what was right and reversing a great injustice." He told reporters, quote, "All I did, I asked for a review. The reaction was not gentle. UEFA said the decision, quote, crossed a red line. Belgium's federation said it was astonished and tried to appeal. FIFA ruled the appeal inadmissible." And the Times later reported that the chairman of FIFA's disciplinary committee made the call on his own without the other 17 members of that committee. Now, on its own, that's a governance row. What turned it into an integrity file is what somebody had already done with it. If you want this covered straight, verified, both sides, no invented nonsense, subscribe and tap hype. It's free and it pushes us up the sport board. The prediction market Polymarket opened a market asking whether Balogun's suspension would be overturned. Not on the match, on the punishment. Think about what that market is. Under the rules as written, he was banned. Done. Automatic. For that market to make sense as a product, somebody had to believe there was genuine, tradable uncertainty about whether a written rule would hold. And here's the detail that put it in an integrity report. According to The Athletic, by that point in the tournament, 15 players had been shown red cards. Polymarket opened a market on one of them, and that one, the only red card in the entire World Cup with its own betting market, was the only red card in the entire World Cup that got wiped. The Group of Copenhagen flagged it. That's not a fan account with a spreadsheet. It's an independent international network operating under the Macallan Convention, a legally binding treaty against sports manipulation adopted by 43 states. They monitored all 104 matches. They put 15 of them under enhanced surveillance, and they raised 7 notices in total, of which the Balogun reversal is one. Their report has gone to FIFA, and they're waiting on an explanation. And then FIFA said there was nothing to see, which is where their own auditor walked in. FIFA's Integrity Task Force is a serious body. Its members include UEFA, CONMEBOL, CONCACAF, the FBI, Interpol, the UN Office on Drugs and Crime, Sport Radar, the US Department of Justice, and the Council of Europe, and the Group of Copenhagen. That task force published its conclusion. No suspicious betting activity, no indications of match manipulation in connection with any fixture across all 104 games. The next day, one of its own members published 7 notices from the same tournament. Now, both things can technically be true, and I'll get to how in a minute, because the defense here is real. But sit with the optics for a second. You are the governing body. You announce a clean sheet. 24 hours later, the treaty-backed monitoring network that sits on your own task force publishes a document that says, "We raised 7 flags." That is not a great look under any reading, and FIFA isn't a neutral observer of the betting industry anymore. In April, it made ADI PredictStreet its official prediction market partner, FIFA's first ever global partner in that category, a company introduced only months before the tournament. Prediction markets went inside the stadiums. Advertising boards, screens, QR codes inviting fans in the ground to forecast the game they were watching. The governing body responsible for protecting the integrity of matches took sponsorship money from the industry taking bets on them. Whatever you think of that, it makes, trust us, the betting picture is clean, a much harder sentence to say out loud. There's a footnote here that's almost funny. FIFA's official prediction partner was barely used. Reporting put ADI PredictStreet's volume on the tournament winner market at around $57,000. On the same market, Polymarket did billions. FIFA sold its integrity position, and the market it sold it to, nobody turned up to. Which brings in the one voice here that governments actually have to listen to. Hours before Spain and Argentina kicked off in New Jersey, the Secretary General of the Council of Europe published an open letter to Gianni Infantino. His name is Alain Berset. He's a Swiss politician who has twice served as president of Switzerland, and he now runs the 46-nation body that created the European Convention on Human Rights. He is not a content creator chasing a thumbnail. Berset wrote, quote, "The next crisis has already begun. It has two names, money and power." On Balogun, quote, "When the rules bend under pressure, every result is open to doubt." He noted the sanction was suspended mid-tournament after a head of state called the president of FIFA with no reasons given. And on the betting itself, he made the point that matters most. Betting has moved away from the result of a match and onto moments a single player can produce without changing the score. Think about what that means. To rig a scoreline, you'd need a conspiracy. To move a market on a card, a corner, a specific throw-in, you need one person to make one decision that nobody watching would ever question. Berset's verdict was 6 words. Quote, "It is an open door to fraud." He wasn't alone. On the 8th of July, 72 members of the European Parliament wrote to the heads of the 27 football associations based in the EU, asking them to seek an investigation into Infantino's role in the reversal and raising FIFA's duty of political neutrality. So that's the case. Now the part the channels chasing this story will not give you. The defense, and it's strong. 1. A notice is not a conviction. The Group of Copenhagen grades what it sees. All 7 of these were yellow, not the top tier. Yellow gets raised for things like an unexplained swing in odds, or a rumor circulating online, or a tip from a source. It means go and look. It does not mean anyone did anything. Treating 7 yellow flags as 7 scandals is precisely the mistake this channel exists not to make. 2. Scale guarantees weirdness. Polymarket alone traded over $4 billion on the World Cup winner market. Kalshi ran into the billions. Across a tournament with that much money moving through it, statistical anomalies aren't a surprise. They're arithmetic. Find any market that size, and you'll find oddities in it. 3. There are innocent explanations for strange-looking money. If you're a bookmaker carrying heavy exposure on a favorite, you can go to a prediction market and buy the opposite outcome as insurance. Suddenly, there's a pile of money sitting on the wrong side of a market. That isn't a plot, that's a hedge. 4. FIFA didn't invent the rule it used. Article 27 exists. It's written down, and FIFA says it had been used before during qualifying for this very tournament. You can think the decision stank and still accept the mechanism was real. And 5, the one that actually deflates the whole thing. If somebody bent this tournament to get Folarin Balogun onto the pitch against Belgium, Belgium won 4-1. Whatever that intervention was for, it didn't work. So no, this is not proof of a fixed World Cup. It really isn't. And anyone telling you otherwise is selling you something. And yet, here's why this doesn't just evaporate. A tournament's credibility doesn't die from proven corruption. It dies from unanswered questions. And this one produced a pile of them. The disallowed Egyptian goal that had a federation filing formal complaints, the all-Argentine crew appointed to a quarter-final, and now a red card reprieve with a betting market attached to it. Once integrity questions are in the air, every close call anyone remembers gets re-examined through a lens that didn't exist a month ago. That's the damage, not a conviction, a permanent asterisk. And FIFA can't argue this one from a position of strength because it took the sponsorship money. When you're being paid by a prediction market, while insisting there's nothing to worry about with prediction markets, you don't get to be surprised that people want an independent check, especially when your own integrity partner publishes 7 notices the day after you announce there are none. What Berset actually asked for, by the way, isn't a scandal. It's a working dialogue. Build a proper integrity framework before the 2030 World Cup arrives in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. the same approach Europe used to force binding treaties on stadium safety and on doping. It's a constructive ask. Whether FIFA takes it is a different question. More than 200 member associations are already backing Infantino for another term. So, pick a side, and this one's a genuine three-way. 1. 7 yellow notices. Market noise in a tournament with billions flowing through it, or something that genuinely needs answering. 2. Should a governing body that polices match integrity be allowed to take sponsorship money from the betting industry at all? And 3. The hard one. FIFA followed its own written rule, but it followed it for one player after one phone call from one head of state on the only red card in the tournament that had a betting market attached. Is that a coincidence you can live with? Comments now. Best arguments from every side get pinned, and if FIFA publishes its explanation to the Group of Copenhagen, that's the next video. Subscribe, notifications on, tap hype if this earned it. Pitchside FC. Pick a side.